Hi! If you don't know me, my name is Alexa. Normally on this channel, I'm making videos about product design, careers in tech, remote work, what it's like living and working in San Diego where I live. But today I'm making a different sort of video, and it's because I was in a basketball related injury a couple days ago, and my world was flipped upside down, and I've never injured my legs or my feet before, and I knew nothing. And so I just wanted to create a video in case anyone out there is going through a similar related injury that I went through. Hopefully, you feel like you have a little bit more information I wish I had when I was going through this at the very beginning, and just so I can share my experience. I also just wanted to say I'm not a doctor. I'm just another person who loves playing basketball and loves playing sports, and found myself in an Achilles tear injury. Never studied this. I've just done a lot of Googling and YouTubing. So please do seek medical advice. Say that as a reminder. Where do I start? What happened? This past Tuesday, I was playing in my adult basketball league, which is very normal as I play a lot of basketball. I'm 30 years old and I've been playing basketball since I was in like 4th grade, like very regularly, very consistently. I live in San Diego now, but I used to live in San Francisco, and at one point I was playing in like 2 to 3, sometimes 4 basketball games a night. Like I was playing a ton. And the pandemic hit and I wasn't able to play basketball the same way for like a long time. And so I was very, very excited to get back into it since things have been opening up a bit. Anyway, it's a huge bummer. I love basketball. It's a huge part of my life. And I now have been in a basketball related injury. So this is what happened. I was playing in my game. I was taking the ball down the court because I play point guard on my team. And what I remember is I was dribbling the ball, girl on my left side, and I went to go right to dribble down the court. I do remember there being a loud noise, like a pop, but the most memorable part for me, I thought someone had stepped on my heel. Like I thought someone was behind me and they just like got my heel, and that's how I fell down. And I'm on the ground, a bunch of girls come over to like help me, and I'm like immediately like freaking out and like holding my leg because it hurts. And I was like, was anyone, what happened? Like, was anyone around me? Like, who stepped on my heel? Like, what happened? And they were all basically like, no one was around you. So that's not good news. They helped me up, go to the sideline. I actually had a teammate that was coming to watch our game because she's been out with an Achilles injury herself, and telling her everything, what it felt like. And she was watching obviously, and she immediately was like, I think it's your Achilles tendon. Like, I think you tore it. And I was like, what? Like, I know nothing. Like, I've never injured my legs before. So I was like, I know nothing about any of this. Plus I was like on adrenaline because I was just playing in my game. I was like hyped up. So I call my fiance, trying to communicate to him what's going on. Like, hey, I think I need a ride. Like, I drove myself to the game, all this stuff. It was honestly pretty chaotic and upsetting, but I think I wasn't like grasping yet what my fate was. So anyway, luckily one of my teammates' girlfriends was able to drive me home, which I'm so grateful for. And just like everyone at the gym was so nice. They brought me ice, and like just my team, like so much love to everyone who helped me that night, but it was really tough. So go home, immediately start icing and elevating my leg. My fiance and I have a friend who's in sports medicine, and so we were able to talk to him, which I'm also really grateful for. And he kind of advised us based off of everything that I described what happened. He was able to advise us a little bit, and just recommended basically to like wait to go to the doctor tomorrow. It was around 8 p.m. at that time, and so I think the only way to really see anyone would be to go to the hospital, and that could potentially cost a lot of money. And as long as it's like not life or death kind of thing, you just want to try to wait it out. And so at that point I felt safe, and like I was able to do it, even though obviously I was like in a ton of pain. Like just taking off my basketball shoe, which I didn't do for quite a long time because everyone was like, keep it on for the pressure. But eventually I did, obviously, and that was quite painful. So anyway, that night, because I couldn't go to the doctor, what I wanted to do was at least research for the next day. And in my mind, I was like, I knew that we needed to try to find an orthopedic surgeon, because that's the kind of doctor that handles Achilles issues, which is what you know, presumably it seems like it was. So anyway, doing the research, need to find myself an orthopedic surgeon. I found a couple that I liked. Obviously everyone was closed because it was like super late at night. So had the numbers down that I was gonna call first thing in the morning. And then that was kind of that. And also my teammate who was at the game who just had her Achilles injury had her crutches still that she didn't need anymore, so she gave them to me. And that made a huge difference. So I had my crutches, was able to, with my fiance Mike, would help me up the stairs because our bedroom is upstairs, and got myself to bed. Actually, like, I don't know, like I just remember it being okay. Like I had no trouble sleeping. My foot was in pain that night when I got home, but I don't remember having any issues sleeping. Anyway, wake up the next day, computer beside me, pull it up, you know, find the places I had already researched into and called them. And the very first one, and the one that I really wanted to go to, was a sports medicine doctor here in San Diego. So they specialize in sports injuries and athletes, and I'm a very active person and have been playing sports my whole life. And so those are the people that I trust. Like I want to be with where the other athletes are. And luckily I called them like literally like 8 a.m. when they opened, and they had an appointment at 8:30 a.m. on Friday. So that would be a couple days later, like 2 days later. So that was the soonest I could get in with them, and I took it. I was like, schedule me in, done. And at that point I knew like I think I needed to get imaging done to like be able to like actually see what's going on there. And so I eventually, whatever other research I did, it led me to calling my primary care doctor, and I called them because there's a 24/7 hour service I can to just video chat to just be able to talk to them, because there was no appointments that day to actually go see a doctor. So I was like, I'm gonna call them. The doctor I talked to was so knowledgeable, and I'm also just like super grateful for her, because like this has been so overwhelming, and the one thing that has been just so useful is information. That's why I'm making this video, just like information. I just wanna know what I can do to be better. So anyway, she was great. Well, basically she said, in order to schedule any sort of imaging, you need to have a referral from a doctor. So if I was going to magically get myself, I don't know, an MRI appointment to be able to, you know, be able to hand that over to the sports doctor on Friday, like I would have to see a doctor first to be able to refer me to get imaging. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna like schedule an appointment for the following day with my doctor, so that at least, and that would have been Thursday, so that I could at least see someone and get the ball rolling on that end if it could help me in any way get, you know, imaging done sooner. And then the other thing she said that was magical was that she said, buy yourself a boot, because you basically want to prevent further injury, and also it just hurts a lot if you know, step on it the wrong way, and it could just make things worse. So she said, buy yourself a boot. You can buy one on Amazon. The one I found was like 40 bucks, which is not too bad, and it came same day. Like I ordered it in the morning and it came basically by the afternoon. So anyway, there I am in my bed, just scheduled all my appointments, whatever, and feeling sad, honestly, like so sad. And I was like, I'm getting myself an appointment today. And this was Wednesday. I was like, I'm gonna get myself an appointment. If for whatever reason someone cancels, I'm jumping on it. So for the next couple of hours, like every 10 or 20 minutes, I would just refresh and like see if anyone canceled. And someone did. I locked that appointment in. It was for 2 o'clock. I felt like I had a purpose that day. I was like, I'm going to see the doctor, like stoked. So probably for the rest of the day, I just remember spending a lot of time in bed that day. It really did hurt a lot. The boot eventually came, which was great. And then I took my crutches and the boot to the doctor to see what was up. While I was there, she did this test, I think it's called the Thompson test, which essentially is a test to test for an Achilles tear injury. What happens is if you normally squeeze your calf on like a normal functioning foot, your foot will move a little. And that's because the tendon connects the calf and the foot, and that like creates that movement. So if you have a tear and you do that test, if you squeeze your calf on that leg and there's no movement, it means that that's what's going on. There's a tear there. As far as how much of a tear, you need imaging really to like be able to fully tell what that is. But she kind of reconfirmed, I don't know, that that is what was going on. And so at that point she was like, well, I can send in a referral for an MRI, but I told her I had the sports medicine doctor on Friday, and that was the specialist that I wanted to proceed with. And she was like, they'll have their own kind of process and things. So I kind of just decided to hold off and wait till Friday to proceed and move forward with them. So I go home. Now I have another full day of just waiting game. So let's see. I want to try to run through this part. Long story short, get my appointment Friday. Similar sort of testing and conversation, but this time with a specialist. So I did feel like I was able to ask more specific questions and get more specific answers. She also confirmed that she believes it's like an Achilles tear, potentially a full rupture. Imaging will be able to actually see how bad it is, and that it's likely that they're gonna recommend surgery for me because of my age and because of how active I am. So the next steps from there is to do imaging. So I got myself an appointment for an MRI on Monday. That was like the earliest appointment I could get, and MRIs take about 48 hours to process. So my next appointment with them is for Wednesday to talk about the MRI results, next steps, and all that. Today is Saturday, and like I said, MRI is Monday. Wednesday, I'll talk to the doctor again. So it's a little bit of a waiting game right now. But I wanted to talk a little about just like what I've learned about Achilles injuries and all the feelings. So I'm gonna pull up my list. Okay, first of all, the main thing I've learned is that there's two types of Achilles tear injuries, like two main ones. One is a partial tear and one is a full rupture. So a partial tear is just that. It's like your tendon just partially teared. I think it means it's also still partially intact. A full rupture means that that tendon is completely snapped in half. And there are some images, I looked on Google Images, of not real human ones, but like illustrations, because the human ones are so disgusting. Like, I think illustrations are a better route. It looks really bad. And that's what I'm kind of waiting to see. Like, how bad is my Achilles tear? Is it partial or is it full? We will see. Okay, the other thing that I've learned is that you can either, and this again, you have to consult your doctor in this. Some people choose to not do surgery and some people choose to do surgery. And I think it depends on how bad the tear is, on what they'll recommend. I think it's more likely that if you have a partial tear that you could get away with no surgery and just wearing a boot and doing physical therapy, so doing PT. And then if it's a full rupture, it's more likely going to be recommended surgery. I keep hearing that it's less risky to get back to full capacity with doing surgery. And I assume that's because they're connecting the tendon back, like it's connected, and it's just about creating that strength back, giving it time to heal and all that. And without doing surgery, I don't know, like maybe it doesn't fully connect all the way. Like, again, I don't quite know, but that's just what I've heard. So as someone who likes to stay active and I eventually want to go play basketball again so bad, I want to be back to my 100% as much as possible. So I will probably go that route. But we'll learn more on Wednesday when I talk to the doctor. I also learned that you can walk on an Achilles tear injury. I have been walking with my boot. I'll show you my boot. This is what it looks like. I got this on Amazon, 40 bucks. I've been walking, like hobbling around on it. And I started able to walk on it, I think on Thursday. So probably just over 24 hours after my injury. You have to be careful. Like I can tell how to, like I can walk now. Like I understand how to not move my leg, and especially with the boot, because it's compressed and it's not letting me move in a certain way. It's just making it a lot easier to be able to walk around and not hurt. Like right now, I'm not in pain. Actually, the time I'm most in pain is in the morning, because when I move my legs back down off the bed, all the blood rushes down to my ankle and that hurts. And then, in the shower with the hot water, that can also kind of hurt. So actually, I think I'm gonna just start icing every morning right away because it hurts so bad. So anyway, so you can walk on an Achilles tear. That's kind of interesting, right? Hi, editing the video right now, and I just wanted to say, although I learned that you can walk on an Achilles tear, that some people can't. So if you don't feel like you can walk, just don't walk. And also, like I'm about to say, again, seek medical advice. I also still have my crutches, and I bring my crutches with me anytime I'm going outside. But when I'm in the house, I feel like I'm able to walk around fine. And even just we have stairs and stuff, and the stairs have railings. So I'm able to use the railings to make sure that I have leverage in case I need to grab onto something. I'm really grateful to be mobile right now, because if I do decide to get surgery, I will actually legitimately not be able to walk for quite a while, is what I've heard. Being able to walk around right now and still have some independence is kind of nice. That was another thing I learned that was very interesting. A couple other things I learned. You are more likely to get this sort of injury if you are a male between the ages 30 and 50 years old who play in rec sports. Like, it literally says that online. And I'm not male, I'm female. Although I'm not a guy, I am at the very beginning of that 30 to 50 year age mark. So maybe my body is just like, Alexa, you are actually getting older. So thanks, body. Cool. Heard you loud and clear. So I found that interesting. And then the other main thing that I learned, it's blasted all over the internet, is that it basically takes a minimum of 4 to 6 months to recover from an Achilles tear injury. And I think that if you get surgery, it's like 4 to 6 months post-operation or post-op. So that's a long period of time. Seems pretty standard. I've talked to a couple of friends who had this injury, and some of them have said that their recovery period was much longer than 6 months to like be back fully, more like 12 months, over a year. And so I think I'm just trying to like in my head set that expectation up in case that happens that way. But I think certainly for walking, what I've read is that it's around the 8-week mark you're walking again without a boot. Don't quote me on that yet. I'll have to see when I get there. But it just seems like that 4 to 6 month mark, that seems to be that sweet spot. So that's another thing to kind of just think about if you're early on in your process here, that's gonna be the amount of time. You're not gonna be able to like do much besides walking early on. And then I also think I'll be able to potentially get into biking, like a standing bike. Like I don't think I'll be on the streets biking, but like one of those like a Peloton or something. So I wasn't able to play basketball during COVID, so I got into running. Now I can't run or play basketball, so I'm gonna get into biking. Yeah, I think the only other thing that other main thing that I've learned right now, and I don't know if anyone's gonna have this similar experience to me, but it was just interesting. I feel like I did as much as I possibly could to try to schedule myself a doctor's appointment right away, and it still is like, I'm days out from even just getting an MRI. Another thing that I think is very interesting about all this is just how insurance works. It was like I had to have a doctor evaluate my leg to be able to even get that referral to get an MRI. I also had to do an X-ray first to be able to rule out anything that an X-ray could find, to then be able to get that MRI. And luckily I was able to do the X-ray at the sports doctor, but it was like, what if they didn't have that services? I'd have to like do that first. It was just like, you have to be able to prove to insurance certain things to be able to do anything. So it's just interesting kind of navigating all that too. And I don't know if that's gonna be your experience. That's just kind of how it sorted out for me. So I'm kind of just in this waiting game. I'm okay. I have a lot to be grateful for. I think it could always be worse. As long as you are alive and living life, you have something to be grateful for. So my mind is there. I'm so grateful to just be able to sit here and talk to a camera. But that all being said, I've been very sad because, well, for a number of reasons. Like one of the main reasons is that I love basketball and I had already signed up for the league again, and it's just a huge part of my life, and I like staying active and I want to be healthy and fit, and that's one of my main ways that I do that. And I had goals set for myself this year around running and fitness, and I gotta let that go for now. And that sucks. I already gave up basketball during the pandemic, and I just got it back, and now I have to give it up again, and it's just like, why? So that sucks. The other thing that sucks is that my fiance and I had a lot of plans scheduled for this first half of the year. We were planning to go to a wedding in February in Mexico, and all I want right now is to take that trip. And depending on how the conversation goes on Wednesday with the doctor, like I might not be able to anymore. And I don't know, it's just like, that sucks. Obviously it's like there are worse things, I know, but it just, yeah, just kind of I was so excited about that. And I feel like I really could like use the trip like that right now. And so just kind of processing, letting some of that stuff go if I have to. And then the other thing that's kind of intermixed in all of this is that we're getting married in July, and July is about 5 to 6 months away from now. So that brings us right up into the minimum 4 to 6 month mark of, you know, being recovered from an injury like this. And that is kind of gives me some anxiety. The doctor seemed to be really confident that I'd be good enough in time for our wedding, so that makes me like feel really great to have that confidence coming from them. But you know, there's always risk involved with surgery, and you know, I'm gonna do my best to do whatever I can to get healthy and back to walking again, but I don't know, anything could happen, right? So just kind of a little bit of anxiety there. And then also we're planning to go on our honeymoon right after, and all I want from like 5 to 6 months from now is to be able to walk long distances, walk upstairs, and like hike you know, around, because we like to stay active, and there's a lot of things I want to see in our honeymoon that would require a lot of walking and moving around. Like, I don't need to jump or run even. I don't know. I just want to be able to have that experience. That's where I'm at. I think the other thing too is just like, I like to have information so that I can process and evaluate and research and like do next steps and like, how can I make things happen? So being in this kind of like waiting period where I'm like waiting for the MRI, then we have to like wait for the result. It's that part's hard. That part is really hard for me, and I am working on it. Like, I'm just trying to chill and making a video today. So, you know, I'm spending my time in other ways. It's hard to stay motivated and feel inspired when you're feeling down. And I feel like I have to kind of go through the grief or like loss of the life I thought I was gonna have for the next 6 months, and know it's gonna change. And I know at the end of it, I'm gonna be a better person. I'm gonna have learned a lot. I'm gonna stretch my Achilles before I do any sort of sport activity from now on. And maybe like let that be a reminder to you if you're over 30 years old or just turned 30 like myself, you are more likely to get this injury. Stretch your Achilles before you run, before you play in that game. That's, yeah, I wish I had done that, I guess. I don't know, yeah, I assume that would help. I'm gonna learn a lot more through PT and stuff too, but anyway, all right. I think that's gonna wrap up this initial AMA about my experience with my Achilles tear. If you're going through this right now, I'm sending you all the positivity as much as possible. Like, you know, let yourself feel all the emotions. If you're sitting where I'm at right now, I wish you the best. I'm planning to make videos following up with how this process goes, more information as I learn along the way, and just sharing my experience. So if you're interested, I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel. I also make videos here about design and careers in tech, life in San Diego. And so if you're also interested in any of that kind of stuff, obviously, like, stick around for that as well. If you have any questions or want to share your experience, leave them in the comments below, and I'd love to connect. And I think that's gonna be it. Thanks for listening. All right, see you next time.